So I was recording a ban list reaction, and then I saw the ban list, and I hit stop recording. Because we all know what was on it and what was not on that ban list. So why don't we talk about something more interesting instead, which is the rise of a certain monster that you're looking at right here. If you followed the Duelist Cup at all, and Stage 2, and all the topping deck lists in the top 100, first of all, you'll see that yes, the best performing deck was Snake Eyes. It's to be expected. Snake Eyes is probably, well, not probably, I think it is definitely and arguably the best deck in Master Duel right now. But what was interesting about that is there was one card that was present in every single basically topping or top 100 Duelist Cup Snake Eyes deck. And I'm not talking about Max Seed or Ash, no. I'm talking about Cashier Unicorn. Basically, every Snake Eyes deck list had the word Cashier in front of it. Cashier referring to the playset of Cashier Unicorn, the one birth that Unicorn searches, and the one raid slot, which basically just searches Unicorn. So why is Unicorn suddenly the best monster in Master Duel this format? Well, first of all, like with any Master Duel format, we gotta talk about Maxi and how it's in 95% of decks, and how traditionally a deck like Snake Eyes is very weak into Maxi. A lot of weenie monsters that require you to special summon a ton in order to summon from your extra deck and get your interrupts out. Unicorn is like the antithesis of what Snake Eyes is, because Unicorn is a single summon that summons an actual legitimate playout, which is the Unicorn itself. If you want to get the draw off Maxi for the summon of Unicorn, you basically have to shotgun Maxi in the draw or the standby phase before your opponent summons Unicorn, and before they even have to play any of their actual cards and commit to any actual plays. And then it's only like a 1-for-1 that you get off for the summon of the Unicorn. And if you don't shotgun Maxi and you wait for your opponent to start playing the game before you try to chain Maxi to something that special summons, then the Unicorn is already on the field. And then it's all bad, because the Unicorn extra deck rip is so relevant this format. Because if you look at two of the top decks, which was one is Snake Eyes and the other one is Super Heavy Samurai. So Unicorn, if you Maxi at any time after Unicorn is summoned, you're losing an extra deck monster. But in reality, you're likely going to get 2 extra deck cards ripped from Unicorn if you wait, because it's very unlikely that a deck like Snake Eyes or a deck like Super Heavy Samurai is able to actually clear the Unicorn without using a monster effect. So you're losing the one for trying to hand trap your opponent on their turn, and then you're going to lose another extra deck card just playing the game yourself on your turn while the Unicorn is on the field. And losing 2, getting extra deck rip twice is like devastating for both decks. Like you're for Snake Eyes, for example, you're probably losing your Promethean Princess, and then you're losing another crucial piece. You might lose their IP, you might lose the Hita, which is it's just like one of the best extension tools in the mirror. You might lose the Link Rebo, you might lose the Zealantis, which is like basically your avenue to OTK in the mirror match. And about if you're playing Super Heavy Samurai for a second. You get both of your Super Heavy Scarecrow ripped. Okay, this card is banned in the TCG, and because this card is banned in the TCG, Super Heavy Samurai is not really a relevant deck. So something Unicorn by itself against the Super Heavy Samurai player can often just make it feel like their best extra deck monster is like banned, like it is in the TCG. It's not just for Maxi, but like for hand traps in general, because Maxi has the option to play around a Unicorn. Most other hand traps actually don't have the option to play around Unicorn. You know, stuff like Ash, Valor, and then if some people are playing additional hand traps like Nibiru, who obviously Nibiru actually does play around Unicorn, but stuff like Mourner or Bell or Bestials, stuff like that, where you cannot physically fire them off before the Unicorn hits the field. So this is a very hand trap heavy format. Again, the top 2 decks are like Snake Eyes and Super Heavy. Both those decks can run like up to like 15 plus hand traps easily. Like 40% of their decks are quite often just hand traps. And if you try to use a hand trap after a Cashier Unicorn is on the field, then you cannot avoid getting your extra deck ripped. And on top of punishing hand trap usage just by getting rid of your opponent's extra deck whenever they do use them, Unicorn also helps you play through those very same hand traps, since it is a double extender. Unicorn itself, and then the Birth will bring back Unicorn whenever you link it off. So that's just extremely powerful extension. First off, some people might just hand trap Unicorn altogether, since Unicorn is also pretty good hand trap bait, and if your opponent suspects that you're on pure cash instead of one of the many variants that just splashes the Unicorn, then you can have the Unicorn just eat the hand trap for you, and then the rest of your plays, you know, can just go through successfully since you baited the hand trap. But even if they don't, and your opponent holds the hand trap for your real plays, it largely doesn't matter if you have a Unicorn already. For example, let's say you have Unicorn and then you normal summon Snake Eyes Ash, and then the Ash gets infirm, and then you just play through that like nothing, since then you can link off the Ash and the Unicorn into an IP, and then Birth will bring back the Unicorn, and now guess what, the IP plus the Unicorn can make the completely generic Promethean Princess, and Promethean Princess can like bring back the Ash, and Ash can send itself and the Birth in order to get a Poplar from deck, and Poplar can add, you know, original Simple Spoils. Then you can keep going off from there. It's like the infirm doesn't even matter. Just having the two extra bodies with combined with generic extra deck, it makes it so incredibly hard to hand trap Snake Eyes when they have access to Unicorn. On top of that, if you Rates Off and Birth, well, if you have these, especially if you open Rates Off is because you have to send cards on the field for your Snake Eyes monsters and your Diabellstars effect. Opening Race Off, it's just a free send for Diabellstar, it's a free send for original Simple Spoils. And likewise, as I mentioned with Birth, you know, after you use the Birth, you can also send it for effects too. It's just so much unintended synergy between Unicorn and Snake Eyes that you swear these cards were almost designed to be played with each other. Oh, and if you are still on the Jet Synchron package, because it's easily accessible with original Simple Spoils, well, the level 1 tuner Jet Synchron plus the level 7 non-tuner Catcher Unicorn just enables a lot more Savage Dragon plays for free, so that's nice there. Also, Birth is don't forget Birth. Birth is a hell of a card, and part of the end board, it's actually really annoying for the mirror match, because your opponent better clear your Unicorn before they start with their Wanted or Simple Spoils plays. Otherwise, they're gonna get their Graveyard banished. So good luck keeping revive targets for Flamberge, and good luck having any sort of follow up on next turn when your Wanteds and your original Simple Spoils can also just disappear from your graveyard because of Birth. Speaking of Birth, first line of text: you can normal summon level 7 monster without tributing. You know what's a level 7 monster? I hit Bellstar the Black Witch. So, to really play around Maxi, you can literally special Unicorn, add Birth, and then normal summon the Black Witch, and you just get these two monsters on board for one Maxi draw. Like, there are builds that play the trap card, Silvera, which is the non-negate. Literally, you Maxi them, they will special Unicorn, normal summon Diabellstar, set the trap, and now you gotta deal with Unicorn Birth plus Diabellstar Silvera off, and all you got was one measly draw off the Maxi. So yeah, again, Unicorn just does, honestly, it just does too much for this deck. And I will say there's maybe one, I won't even call it a negative, I'll just call it, you know, this is just an issue with Master Duel in general, is that Unicorn happens to be way better going first than going second, unfortunately. Obviously, everything I mentioned applies to how broken Unicorn is going first. But going second, it's a lot less of a threat, since if your opponent already put up a board, then they've already used their best extra deck monsters most likely, and their most important ones, so the Unicorn extra deck rip isn't actually that useful anymore going second. Not to mention, it's quite easy to remove the Unicorn without even giving it a chance to search Birth in the first place, so it doesn't even get the extension that way. And in that sense, it's an unfortunate scenario where as more and more people are gonna play Cashier Unicorn in their main deck, it's a card that helps going first more than going second, so it's just gonna make going second even harder and feel even worse in Master Duel than it already is, which is honestly just like losing the coin flip is already one of the worst feelings in the best of one format already, and then when you're dealing with just more cards like Unicorn that just help going first even more. It's honestly, it's a problem that's gonna persist indefinitely, especially given the new ban list. Like, oh no, man, Unicorn went from 3 to 2. This entire engine's dead, bro. Surely no one's gonna play this anymore.